Wait, the secret the secret Requiem is 22?
Yeah.
I can pull up TCG player, see what the can't spell.
QCR Lacrima is 160, 165, and then gone.
Wow, I even spelled
Actual
Beansmith wrong. I cannot spell tonight.
Secret
Oh
Rare
wow, yeah,
Lacrima
you're right.
Is 30, 31. Yeah, so she's like 30,
Whoa.
31. Secret Rare Lacrima.
It's funny going on TCG player and just seeing like the price difference on the market price to the like 25's listing, you know, like the listings range.
Literally, dude.
Let's see.
All of the Ryzeo cards have gone down. QCR Detonator went from 150 to 119, looks like.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Now, yeah. QCR Ice went from 120 to 95. Sword went from 90 to 80. X went from 90 to 70. Duo went to 45. CR detonators are 25.
So what you're saying is it's a good time to invest in Ryzeo max rarity cards.
This is like the Nats list. So if you want to play the deck for Nats, then go crazy.
You think this is going to be the list that we're using for Nats?
Yeah.
I guess it makes some sense, right? Because it's only 2 months out and there's a new set coming out and whatnot, so it'll be a little bit easier for them to justify, you know, not making a new ban list.
It's kind of AIDS because we literally have a new set in 3 weeks.
Yeah. It's got the Malice reprints. One second, I'm grabbing some stuff. It's got the Malice and Ryzeel support in it, right? It's got March Hare and Star Ryzeel and the Adignister cards.
Yeah, 3 weeks. Funny.
All right, let's see what I got in my packages. Not a euphemism.
Holy disgusting pause. There's no shot. Okay. I saw Bone Party, $45, and I'm like, you guys know this is in QCR in 30 seconds, right? Holy shoot. And the card's still $17, $18. For who? For what?
Yeah, this is gonna be basically mass reprinted in what? A couple weeks? Next week, right?
Literally tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Literally
wow, okay.
Tomorrow.
Adignister got more support. Yep. Well, unfortunately, Pillow King 5 Adignister is not what that support was made for. That support was made for Malice, even if they didn't mean for it to be. Yeah, first, okay, the package that I got was high rarity Colute. I think that's the platinum secret or whatever. And then the psychic processor for my Cosmo deck that I troll with.
I see.
Let's see what else I got.
Oh, I was
Oh, it's my last CR Stake Your Soul.
You can close it, please. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay. It's my last CR Stake Your Soul, and I think there should be... Nope, it's just that. Okay, well...
Have a great day. Thank you.
So I played Vanquish Soul at the Judge tournament. 5-0, baby. Absolutely cleaned house. Let's go. That deck was nuts. We have a new line. We have a new line that uses Asa, the Earth Charmer, and Cross Sheep to search Rosin.
Oh, I hate this game. For what?
Okay, all right. Let me okay, I'm gonna pull up Dueling Book on the stream, and I'm gonna.
God, he's gonna pull up a spreadsheet, man.
No. I'm just gonna walk you through the combo. It's nothing crazy. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
It is, of course.
Ostia turns 0.
As all things, it is of course a Fiendsmith combo.
Yeah. Sure.
Once this DB website loads, let's go. What has been going on with DB recently? This website is so friggin' slow.
Yeah. Don't got enough donations, but people aren't donating.
Infernity Fiendsmith win. Do not. I have an Infernity Fiendsmith Ubel FTK. All right, I already made it, and it works. And now there's no shifter to stop us.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Speaking of, what are your thoughts on the new ban list?
What do I think about the new ban list? It got rid of cards that kept other decks in check. So I don't know how I feel.
Oh, just one sec. I forgot to change the title of the stream.
As much as I believe Shifter was not really an okay card, the card was a necessary evil. However, I will say the banning of that card kind of makes Pure Malice irrelevant. The cards themselves just, I don't feel they're good enough. Like, there's no way you could sit there and say, yeah, I'm going to take Pure Malice to an event, and then just high roll getting, like, Lanciad, like, for 12 plus rounds. I just don't see it.
Yeah. Great, but now we got rid of tactics and other cards that kept hand traps in check. So I actually...
Shadow Talents.
I do agree that there are certain things that keep decks in check. What I will say is that I think they made a step in the right direction with some of those decks by hitting cards like Sapphire Tank, hitting cards like, oh, and my passport came in. Bahamut Shark, right? That's going to stop the Totally Awesome from hitting board. So where is that? It's here, right? Which means that now we can Nibiru the water deck if they don't, you know,
if they're bad at the game. Yeah,
if they're bad at the game and they don't use the what's her nuts to hand rip.
I mean, in all fairness, I'm not gonna lie to you. They kind of just like they see double nib in your hand. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to make Prima Donna first until you have to nib here. And then they just activate Shrine to eat, like after you did them or whatever. Use Shrine effect, pitch a water, summon out Fish Guy, pitch a card, Eteli triple pike, and
oh my god,
level 3 Fish Guy.
Prima Donna's several dollars now when it was okay, so it was like $1.50 before the list, and now it's closer to $3. That's not so bad.
There's two ways to play the deck, yeah. So like you can either do it that way, like you do the statue lock, or you can do the Ice Barrier Synchro thing. Like they're both good, right?
What do you think it's gonna lean towards? I guess you play the deck. What would you, as your initial instinct, lean towards?
Both are good in specific scenarios. So like the Prima Donna one technically is stronger, but it loses harder to Fua. Like the Lancia one, it gives them one draw off Fua. So like you could definitely just play both in your deck. It's the same thing. Like instead of playing Trident, the Quizspell, you just play the Ice Barrier guy. It's like it's just the only difference between your deck.
You're talking about Lancia, right?
Like, yeah, the Ice Barrier Synchro.
Ancestral Dragon of the Ice Mountain. Yeah, this guy.
That card's Nutter Butters.
Yeah, this card's insane. Once per chain. Was it up to 3 times per turn? Or yeah, twice per turn. Okay.
Large, please. Yeah.
Are you ordering food in the middle of the stream?
No, I'm ordering Starbucks for the girl that is sick.
I see. What's her nuts? Yes, what's her nuts? Yeah, that's what I am a little bit worried about. That post list, we're going to see a lot more of like these degenerate FTK decks. Not that I'm one to talk, having played Salamangreat FTK for a good chunk of time and Infernity FTK for another good chunk of time.
Well, one of the big things right now is you're seeing is like Memento's taking over DB. And it's just annoying because the deck won a YCS.
Well, so
the good thing about Memento though is like the deck itself has a lot of points of interaction. However, the deck doesn't really do anything unfair. So like, yeah,
it just kind of extends and keeps extending.
It extends and it's a lot of removal. So like if you're a thing we're gonna probably see is a lot of pile decks with a lot of gas, like just beat Memento. Just because like if you have more gas and they have interaction, they just kind of fold.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like for example, Tier is gonna probably see a spike of play because Dweller's gone within the next couple of weeks.
Dweller and Shifter.
And God, that deck just goes through people. It's so disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, with the inclusion of the Fiendson cards in that deck, you're just like, meow.
It's still pretty RNG heavy though, isn't it? And especially now that Beatrice is banned,
Not
like.
Really. Not really.
What makes you say that?
You just play engines. Like, okay, like Tier is basically just evolved into what engines can I put into this pile to make it work. So you have like, do you know what Snake Eye Doom Dragon does?
That's the new fusion, right?
Yeah. So basically, like, the Master Duel technique, right, is that they play the Millennium Monk cards, right? But they only play like Ouiju Temple, the 6 that searches Ouiju Temple.
Yeah.
And Sanjin.
Yeah, Sanjin or whatever.
Correct. And so that guy, basically, it creates just one of those cards, any one of them, creates a game state to where it gets you 2 level 8s and a level 6. So when you're playing, it places, any one of them places themselves, they push up, search a card, so they go even by paying 2 grand. Doom Dragon pushes back a card when he's summoned, like Flamebridge does. Yeah. And then you use 2 8s to make Zombie Vampire.
Oh, and that mills 4. Yep.
It mills 4, and then you make Fiendsmith combo with the other 2 bodies.
Yeah, because you summon a body off of Zombie Vampire.
Well, you use the 6 first. So, like, basically what ends up happening is you use the body you summon off Zombie Vamp plus Zombie Vamp to make Moon into Wreck summon out Engraver, and then that's Pilgrim Reaper for 5 more.
Oh, are we talking about Tier?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's what, Pilgrim? You said Pilgrim Reaper?
Yeah, it says effective 5.
It's kind of like was it the Bujin card that like mills 5?
Oh, yeah, I've seen this. Yep. Detach 1 from this card. Each player sends the top 5 cards from their deck to the graveyard or their entire deck of less than 5. Wow.
And then after that, you use Engraver Summon back to make Sequence with the Pilgrim Reaper and Engraver.
Duelist
You can either
Alliance.
make Duke of Demise. You can make Duke of Demise there, because that's an extra 6, or you can make Aerial Eater to send Shabara. Those are like the 2 big ones.
Yeah, this Duke of Demise is actually pretty decent card. It seems that the price has been dropping pretty dramatically for a little bit there, but like, I know that Kenny was, not Kenny, Joey was talking about this card with his Trickstar deck. He was like, yes, I get to normal summon Candina an extra time. I get to use full Fiendsmith combo. The normal summon Candina an extra time.
Heck yeah, man.
What are we checking right now? We are checking the ban list and talking about specific cards that have been impacted, or like decks that have been impacted by the ban list, and like certain play options that they have available to them now that are less bad because Shifter and Dweller and less Bestials are around. So real quick
Unchained.
before we Unchained as well. Real quick before we move on, I had mentioned casually that I have a new Vanquishal combo that uses Asa to search Rosin. I'm gonna run that now.
Dude. Oh my god.
I'm gonna run it now. You just gotta witness. Okay. Only 1 card. We just need tracked. Okay. All right. Here goes nothing. So we are going to track. This can also be Engraver. All right. Here you are. Add Lurie, send Lurie. We're gonna summon Lurie. Pretty typical stuff so far, right? Requiem into Lacrima. And then Lacrima is going to send Engraver. Bless you.
Hey.
Engraver, shuffle back the Lurie. Requiem to equip. Make Necroquip. We could actually use if we want to test for nib before we keep playing, we can do this so that they nib immediately. If they don't nib, great. They don't have nib. So we're going to go into sequence. We're going to sequence, fuse the... Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Engraver and Requiem. It actually does matter. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. Into Aerial Leader. Aerial Leader is going to send the main decked Chaos Hunter. And then we are going to link 2 into Cross Sheep. Aerial Leader is going to banish the Chaos Hunter and the Necroquip to summon back, which is going to trigger Cross Sheep to summon back Lacrima. Then we're going to link 2 with Cross Sheep and Aerial Leader into Ossa, where we will then use Sequence to equip to Lacrima, and then Contact Fuse with Ossa and Sequence into Chorozo, where we then overlay for Battle and Boxer King Dempsey, who on summon searches Vanquish Soul Rosin. Isn't it awful?
Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks, doesn't it? But it's like, it's so great. That means I have 4 extra copies of Rosin in my deck.
Could be 6. If you wanted it to be.
It could be 6 if I wanted it to be. You're so right. So true, bestie. Don't give me bad ideas.
Anyway,
okay, back to the ban list. So, now that you're here, Trey, I wanted to just do a quick discussion of the wait, is there a way to do this, but to get Infernal Flame Banshee instead? Yes, the way to do that is everything that I just mentioned, except instead of going into Dempsey, you go into Banshee. It is literally the exact same combo line I just did, except with Infernal Flame Banshee instead of Dempsey. You can do this with a lot of things. You can do this with Gallant Granite, if you feel like it, to search Nib. And that's how you turn Fiendsmith combo into Nibiru for no reason. For no Rosin. Haha. Anyway. Okay, so I want to quickly go over the ban list, discuss the hits that were made, and then I'm going to pick your guys' brains, Trey, Hunter, chat, and we're going to have a quick discussion about what we think we're going to need to be looking out for, any changes that might occur to decks themselves, and then we actually have a question that I would like to pose and see if you guys would have an answer for. So, starting out, immediate changes. We have 2 Link monsters banned. The Nightmare Griffin, which, I mean, I think that it's deserved. I don't know about you guys.
sure. I mean, I don't know. Every time it's come up, it hasn't been fun. It doesn't produce good gameplay, so I'm fine with it. Like, I know most Malice players weren't on it anyway at this point, but bad card design, so sure.
Floodgates are haha funny. It's only a problem when a combo deck makes a floodgate. That's the issue.
That's true.
Usually,
Yeah.
a thing you'll notice is like floodgates in slower strategies aren't usually problems because they can't kill you over a course of turns. However, when a combo deck makes a floodgate at the end of their board, that's a problem because then there's 0 interaction within the game state. I.e. Buster Luck, i.e. Griffin, i.e. Dweller.
Dimension Shifter.
I disagree on Shifter. Shifter only became a problem when Malice started playing Griffin.
Interesting.
It was annoying to play against in Flu, but
I guess that's true, right? Is that in Flu it wasn't like it wasn't rampant, right? It was just a thing that they could play. I don't know. I guess when Cash was running around playing Shifter, it was similar to when Malice was doing it.
Well, when Cash was the best deck, it was terrible to play Shifter because you're playing Cash for the whole.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, you probably played Shifter.
The people that
played
Shifter were monkeys.
Yeah, I guess they were a little.
Deck was just worse in the mirror.
A little one of those monkeys crashing symbols together. If you were playing Shifter in the main during Cash format, I think it was a little bit more warranted now, right? Because there's so many decks that are running around that you just need Shifter for, and even in the mirror, Shifter's enough to slow the deck down that you getting like 2 or 3 interactions on board instead of 5 or 6 would be enough to win because Shifter's live. So it did more with Malice than it did with Cash into a mirror, which yeah, makes sense. Yep. And I do agree with Griffin that...
It also turned a lot of your... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that. I totally agree with you on Griffin. It is a problem when combo decks make floodgates. It is not as much of a problem when slower strategies make floodgates, right? Because they're slower, tempo of the match kind of evens out a little bit. They can't just kill you immediately, and you have more chances to kind of break your way out of it. Like, hey, Trey, you remember that time you played Salamangreat as a floodgate deck and you topped a YCS?
That's crazy.
What an era. Okay.
Rivalry and Gozen were they got really strong.
All right. Next is Link Decoder. Do we think that this was a warranted ban?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
It makes
Because
Malice
that's
way
the
more
only deck you
susceptible to hand traps. Yeah.
It's the only hit you can give the deck without killing it.
So I was actually of the opinion that you hit all the, like every single Bestial to 1, you get the field spell to 1, and then you can ban Link Decoder if you want. But the idea would be that you just hit all of the extenders that the deck has. That way
terrible.
It is almost always correct to interact with the starter. Because now there's way less ways for them to play through an opening interaction. Like, it doesn't do anything to hurt the engine itself, but it really hurts the deck's ability to play through interaction. Which I think is what we need going into a format where, you know, it's about to be tier 0.
I disagree with that statement. Link Decoder offers a lot more than just utility in the form of extra bodies after you get stopped. The card itself is basic extension that allows players to play like literal trash, but fixes combo lines.
Okay. So you're saying that it insulates for mistakes, like it rewards players for playing improperly.
Correct.
Interesting. All right, so would you say that Malice is in a position now where it's still good, but it's fair? Or I guess what is your take on Malice post Banlist?
I personally, I would not walk into a room playing pure. If I were to play Malice, it would have to be closer to the FIFA version. Just because there's like, comparatively speaking, there's not enough reason for me to sit there and play pure. There's just not enough good cards anymore. Like, the only argument to play pure before was like Impulse and Shifter, right?
Yeah.
But like, if people were gonna sit there and play like Memento, your deck doesn't beat that.
Yeah. You'd also want to be playing cards like Nib and Droll now that, you know, certain checks and balances are out of the way, right? And then if you're playing Impulse, Nib and Droll get way worse. Okay.
And when you say pure, you're meaning like Bestial Malice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't consider Bestial a side engine. I just consider those cards extenders.
Sure.
I consider Bestial side engine if you're playing Lubellion and Regained.
Yeah, that's only the FIFA version.
Yeah.
It doesn't play those cards because you're playing Impulse. And Shifter.
Oh, I'm so glad Shifter's Saki now instead of just being everywhere. Oh, bless. See, I, unlike many in Yu-Gi-Oh, don't mind getting sacked by one-ofs. I think that's part of the quintessential Yu-Gi-Oh experience. Obviously, I don't like when it happens to me, but it's like, I don't mind it. You know, it's part of the fun of the game is getting sacked by some crazy one-of. And sacking.
Sacked by like Callby. I'm not getting sacked by like Gamma. Like, why are we playing Gamma?
That's so I was just judging YCS Houston, right? And in the last round, after Ultimate Time was at an end for the night, they threw me back onto the floor, and so I was walking around the top tables, and somebody resolved Gamma playing Malice.
That's incredible.
I was losing my mind. They literally they resolved Gamma, and then they proceeded to make Omega and hand rip, and the dude just looks at his hand and goes, "Yep, next game."
Up 2 cards.
That was crazy.
That's incredible. I bet it won him night.
What'd you say?
I bet it won him that game after he got Lancia. Draw face Lancia. I got some for you, buddy.
Oh my god. And later on there was a different, you just reminded me, there was a different match where some girl used Gamma on the opponent's turn, and then in the end phase used their Lancia that they cited for crossout that they had drawn, so that they didn't banish their Gamma and their driver.
That's incredible.
That was in the X3 tables though, so it wasn't going to go anywhere. But I was just like, oh my god, that's so crazy, that's so cool.
Yeah,
So,
that's the Orpus technique.
I'm kind of wondering if like Lancia still deserves like its side deck spot. Like,
Yes.
well, it's questionable whether or not people are even going to be like. I guess they still probably will play Malice. They probably will still play Malice, but like it's pretty. I mean, if Hunter's right, it's pretty much just going to be Fiendsmith Malice. So it's like, eh.
So a couple things. One is Alliance Insight comes out in 3 weeks. Two is that there
I'm
are
talking about between now
yes,
and Alliance
yes,
Insight, not.
but there are other decks that Lancia is good into. Crystron being one. That deck's probably going to see a little bit more play now that Shifter's gone, which is one of the cards that stops it, and that people are going to be kind of experimenting with new decks. And Crystron's pretty popular. The Dweller's gone as well. Yep. And then additionally, people are going to be looking for new Ryzeal variants now that the Fiendsmith Ryzeal build has gotten way less consistent, and the pure Ryzeal build is basically turned into you need to be loading up on 7th Tachyons and 7th Ascensions. I feel like people might be leaning towards the build that Nicole and Hunter play, right? The voiceless voice build, which Lancia can actually do a little bit of damage to. It's not nearly as good as like Droll, but it's certainly not comfortable for them.
I mean, Mitsu cards are good.
Mitsu cards are good as well. Yep. But those don't banish, so Lancia wouldn't be getting to them.
Correct. I don't know. I think personally, I've been seeing a few different ways to play the deck. Like people wanted to play, they still want to play Fiends with Ryzeal, but they're still playing like 7th Ascension, which I don't know how correct that is either.
I agree. I think if you're going to play Fiendsmith Ryzeal, you play Small World instead, because that doesn't lock you.
Well, you could also argue that if you wanted to play just like the shark cards, there's 2 extra extenders there, maybe, but it all depends really.
Yeah, I think the shark cards would only really work for pure.
I just think with Detonator going to 1, plugging gets a lot better.
Agreed.
But also at the same time, it's a duality because Metaltronus gets infinitely better.
Yeah, Metaltronus gets way better. Plugging gets better, and then now the bonfire's at 1, you basically have to go -1 on a majority of your Ryzeal searchers. So like whether that's Small World, Ascension, Tachyon, something somewhere outside of bonfire is going to go -1, which I think is good. I mean, that deck, it was a gadget deck, right? Everything searched everything. So I think Star Ryzeal will make a little bit of an impact to the overall quality of the deck. I think when ALN comes out, both Malice and Ryzeal are going to see another jump back up in quality. But for right now, actually,
I'm more interested in talking about like the between now and then.
Yeah, actually, I was actually just going to get to that, right? Like after you mentioned that, like, oh, is Lancia even worth siding right now? I guess for like this 3 to 4 week period before Alliance Insight comes out, maybe not siding Lancia is okay.
It's at least questionable, I think. I do think Droll probably finds its way into the main deck. Certainly, if anybody is going to try to play Ryzeal, Droll is just going to end their day now. Because like the only way to play it. It was, but now it's like way worse. Like you activate 7th Ascension and then get Drolled there.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah, I mean crossouts at 1 then too. So it's like.
Yeah.
You have 1 crossout, 1 callback, 1 talents. Good luck, bro.
Yeah, so that's another thing, right? Is that what we've seen is there's a drop in cards that stop players, right? Like I'm looking at Dweller, I'm looking at Bahamut Shark, I'm looking at Griffin. Those cards got banned, right? Now Bahamut Shark got Toad. Griffin was a floodgate. Dweller was also a floodgate, and then we see hits to 1 on cards like Crossout, cards like Triple Tactics Talent, right? Where these were cards that were designed to stop your opponent stopping you, or punish your opponent stopping you, or stopping your opponent, right? But it seems like they balance out in a way where we're losing cards that stop the opponent, right? Shifter getting hit, Dweller getting banned, Bahamut Shark getting banned, Griffin getting banned, but then we're also seeing hits to the cards that stop the opponent from stopping you, like the Talents, like the Crossout, right?
Okay, just to be clear, Talents was never okay.
I agree.
Card is so disgusting.
I agree. That card was insane. That card was a Pot of Greed, a Change of Heart, and a Confiscation or whatever.
Look, it was fine for like 4 years because all we played was just Engine Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Now we're playing Hand Trap Yu-Gi-Oh. Now it's not okay.
Yeah, that card's too busted now. I think it needed to get banned, not put to 1. But I guess if like Change of Heart is at 1, no, I think it needed to get banned.
I like the idea that like you can still thrust for it going second. Like
I guess that's fair. Yeah. Now it plays more as like a board breaker or a way to extend through boards rather than a way to like punish the opponent for hand trapping you.
Yeah, it's like you might sack with it, but like,
yeah,
you know.
No, I guess it's a good point. I think you know what? Now that you talk about it, yeah, I think I am okay with it at 1, right? Because you know, going second, now it's going to be way easier for you to be able to be like, okay, I have the engine to break through your board. I just can't play through like a nib as well. So I'll look at your hand, take a C, shuffle back the problem card, and then I'll play. Or, well, I can't break this board without, you know, I can't out that Chaos Angel without Talents. Let me just search that and grab it, right? So I guess I don't mind it as like a go second card that you can search off thrust. But I mean, now it's also just a sacky one of if you're going first, right?
I also kind of go ahead.
Now, with Talents going to 1, do you think we're going to see more like evolution of hand traps, or do you think like, for example, like more people are now going to FUA in main phase, where people used to just FUA and draw phase and like say, "Oh, I'm playing on Talents, Keck W."
I mean, yeah, probably, right? Because they're going to feel a lot safer. I know that I, as a guy, as like a big Vanquishal guy, right? I am suddenly going to feel way more comfortable just shotgunning effects. Sorry, not just shotgunning effects in draw phase, right? Like a lot of the time, you know, I'm using my my Borger or my Xiaolong in draw phase, getting something that, you know, might be correct in my head, but might not be correct contextually as like a search. Because I don't want to wait till main phase to do that, right? I don't want to have to play into Talents, and, or, you know, if I don't need to. And like, oh, if I draw, you know, a good card here, maybe I can just wait and use my trap to board wipe. But now, you know, I'm way less worried about using card effects in the main phase. Like, yeah, thrust is still a thing, but you know, at least it's extremely telegraphed. I get a chance to make interactions before they're going to have an opportunity to activate Talents.
Yeah, because like when we were in Vegas, I literally told Nicole, I'm like, look, the only hand trap you're playing in your deck when you're going second is FUA and Perulia.
Mm-hmm.
You just throw them in the draw phase, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And they would look at their Talents in their hand, and they'd be like, just looking stupid at her. Because she wouldn't activate a single card. And she would just look at them, break the whole board, and then the Talents is staring at Skull Guardian. Like, wow, that was cool. It just eats it every time. And they still have to deal with like a 3-material detonator with Cross and Radiance and Cerevis and all that garbage. I'm like, dude, pack it up, man. Just pack it up.
Interesting. So we had somebody with Semtex in the chat be like, Mitsu will be the best version of Ryziel after Alliance Insight as they get new cards.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's certainly more justifiable than it was previously, you know. But now I'm looking at like the Mitsu cards, and like the rarities, they've gotten cheaper, except for exactly the ritual spell. Like I'm looking at the QCRs, and they're cheaper.
There's exactly one good card out of there. Like I don't like the new ritual. I think that card sucks. I don't like the new Rit spell. I think that card sucks too. The new trap card sucks. It's like only the main deck monster that's good. IMO. Like it's just it says search a monster, but like I just don't feel that does enough. Like that's not what the deck wanted. Like playing the deck, you needed an issue of like you basically needed pre-prep for the deck. if that makes sense. You needed like a way to get ritual spell, ritual monster to your hand as your first action. That's what the deck needed, and I'll die on that hill.
Trying to find what the. That's a March Hare. New tab. I'm trying to find what the Mitsurugi support was in Alliance Inside. I'm looking through all the cards right now. Oh wait, Regenesis is in the set as well. Vanquish Soul. We're eating.
I mean, I don't like. I feel like we can save Alan talk for later. Like
different stream. Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
Hey, I still want to talk about Unchained. This is
okay,
so cool.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's talk Unchained. I mean, we just got Sharvara back at 2.
Bark. Yama pop.
Do you think that Sharvara 2 is enough to really bring Unchained back? I mean, I guess that Shifter and Dweller are gone too, right? I mean, that's crazy. The deck didn't really lose to Droll or Nib.
Nope. And they're all the good colors for Impulse.
Yeah, wait, that's crazy. Unchained. Yep, I see darks, I see fire, I see water. Yep, and so it's not earth, it's not wind, it's not light. Wow.
You just can't play the Fiendsmith cards if you want to play Impulse. But like, you don't really want to play those cards.
Yeah. Wait a minute. A deck that doesn't lose to Droll, doesn't lose to Nib. The cards that were gatekeeping it out of the meta are gone, right? If you get
you have to stop to punish the mouse deck.
I guess the
Make Caesar
biggest issue is Charmies.
No.
Because don't a couple of these summon from hand or grave, or I feel like they summon from everywhere.
They all summon from deck, like
it's like
when they get destroyed.
There's combos to play around Fua. Does that make sense?
Okay. Well, I know that summon because doesn't one of them summon from hand by?
Yeah.
One of them Aruha's.
So your headboard you're trying to make, if you get Fluid, you just make like Rage Trap card go.
And
then you're just kind of chilling. Because like what'll end up happening is the deck likes to go second, first of all. So those cards aren't really going to be a problem. The point is because like you get so much value off like just playing through cards. The Charmies are really an issue for you. So playing cards like Mind Control or Thrust Tactics, you change a heart even if you wanted to, like the Breakers.
Yeah.
And then you just play like your own Charmies to make their board worse.
And these cards are so cheap. Even Yama's only like $5.
Yeah, the deck just eats cards.
Wow.
For some reason. You have the big blue dog that eats one of their cards. You have the red dog and the extra deck that eats another one of their cards. All of a sudden, there's an access code that's a 5300 on the board, and they're dead.
Yeah, this is like actually worth looking into, right?
Yeah, it just eats cards. I like that deck.
Very cool.
It eats detonators alive.
Yeah, because if they try to detonate or pop stuff, it's like, hey, boom, sure, I'll pop off. Thanks.
So
don't mind if I do. Yeah.
Part of me kind of wonders, like, how many people are going to continue choosing to play Ryziel. I suppose, like the Fiendsmith version it's pretty awkward now, obviously with 1 bonfire and 2 ice. Trying to start any other direction is it can be awkward. Pure Ryziel. So I know myself, as I was playing Pure Ryziel beforehand. I'm not gonna buy the 7th Tachyon stuff like that. I mean, I spent like $150 on the Ryziel deck, and I was like, oh, a tier 1 deck for $150. That's awesome. I'm not gonna go now spend $200 to make the deck playable, but still worse than what it was. Like, at least yesterday, 7th Tachyon was $60 a copy.
Yeah, it's closer to 70 now.
Okay, well, yeah. Point stands. So And you know, sure, I guess I could go buy the Mitsu stuff, but like you probably still play 7 Tachyon there too. So it's like, ugh.
Yeah,
Like,
Mitsu would play 7th Tachyon.
Yeah, so it kind of makes me wonder, you know, like, first of all, is it worth trying to pick a deck based on how it will play into Detonator? I know before the ban list that was definitely a consideration. Now it kind of feels like maybe not, at least until maybe the deck comes back in Allen, but for the next 3 or 4 weeks. I think anyone who has Rizio cards.
The Ultra is still $7 for Detonator. That's crazy.
The other one I wanted to jump on was decks that were potentially being gatekept by Detonator. If that, you know, theory ends up being correct, that people are going to essentially choose not to play Rizio. Things like, Ubel, potentially Cash Fiendsmith, maybe.
Okay, yeah, Fiendsmith's still going crazy, yeah.
Voiceless, Centurion. Like, there were a lot of decks that were just sort of running around that, like, have continuous spells and traps or field spells or whatever that, like, is awkward to play into Detonator. And it's unclear whether or not Detonator's going to be as pervasive as it was.
You know what else I'm wondering? Are we going to see an uptick of people playing the Kashtira engine? Because now Unicorn gets rid of Detonator forever.
Yeah, that was the other thinking, is that Fiendsmith Cash may actually just come back and, because like what did that deck lose? Like nothing, right?
No.
So it feels like it's at least possible that deck just completely comes back.
Oh, look at the Unicorn's pricing. It's up to $7.50.
I mean, it was like 10. Like it's been pretty stable.
Even the Ultra's up to like $9, closer to 8.
So.
Okay. I think it's worth considering, right? I mean, Unicorn translates into 2 free bodies. It can deal with Detonator forever. It can deal with Requiem, right? I mean, we were laughing. I don't know if anybody here saw Joey's Trickstar Fiendsmith Kashtira deck profile, right? Apparently there was a guy who got his entire Fiendsmith engine just ripped from his extra deck by one of Joey's Unicorns. Like, that card is really not to be trifled with.
I made because Joey wanted to play Thunder Wednesday because Black White went to blah 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 blah, and I told him, like, look, what if we just played Tier? And he's like, no, I want to play Thunder cards. I'm like, beyond. So I had to go math out a whole Danger Thunder deck.
Hey, Danger cards are back, right?
Okay.
How exciting is that?
About those cards, the only good thing about the Thunder cards is, like, you know the Doom Dragon thing I was talking about?
Yeah.
So, you know, okay. So for some reason, Dark and Roar say when they're sent from field to grave, right?
Yeah.
So if you put them in the spell and trap zone from your hand with Ouija Temple, and then you sack them off with Doom Dragon, it triggers their effects. Why it does that?
Oh my god.
So you chain block them with Doom Dragon when you go second. You're like, haha, fun, chain link 1 Dark, chain link 2 Doom Dragon, push. And you're just sitting there and you're like, what is that?
That's so.
And all of a sudden you have like 30 bodies on the board.
Dumb. I mean, I don't think that's like the new meta or anything, but that is so silly. Thank you, Semtex. I will take a look at that after the stream. I appreciate you sending me that. So let me, so kind of to bring up Trey's point, right? Because we never really touched on that. And we also had a question on the YouTube channel. They say, as someone who picked up Malice recently, is there any way that this deck is still playable post ban list, but pre new support, or do we have to wait for the new support for this deck to become good again? Right. So there's that, and then there's also Trey's point of, are people even going to keep playing Ryziel in the weeks to come? And Hunter, you just said yes pretty quickly, right? What's your thought process there?
So like both decks are playable, yeah. The reason why Trey doesn't think people are gonna play Raziel is because they're not gonna, unless you already own Ascension and 7th Tachyon, like some people will go whale an extra what are they, $70 now? So
yeah,
$210.
Yeah,
$210 and go play Raziel. Like some people will do that, but sometimes for other people's budget, that's just not in the cards, right? So as a like if you're looking at the local level, what some people might do, because 7th Ascension is getting reprinted literally in 2 days, they might just go buy 1 7th Tachyon and then just buy like the 3 supers out of Stampede. You know, that could be an option too, because that's just basically replacing the copies of Bonfire and Ice that you lost. At the same time, with Malice, you know, Engraver's getting reprinted in literally 3 days. You know, your deck's playable. You can still play Pure if you want. I mean, you have Circular now, so you just reveal Circular, send Sigma special, summon back. You know, you want
doesn't
Surges of Cybers?
doesn't Sigma? Oh yeah, but I guess the issue is like if you're locked into Cybers, how are you going to summon Duo Drive? You know?
Well, no, he's talking about Malice here.
Oh, Malice. Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about Raziel. I'm dumb. Yes.
Surges of Cybers, bro. You get Circular is like 2 extenders by himself. That churches a spell with an extra extender. So
yep, Circular, like, the super rare is up.
Yeah, you just pay like the $2 for Circular. The problem is I think Outlaw is like expensive again because of stupid. God, I hate that card. It's so disgusting. Why is that card always money for no reason?
The secret rare is up to like $27. The maximum gold is still 20 cents.
Okay. Eventually.
Bro, people hate Mago rares. That's so funny. It's literally a $27 difference. Oh my god, no, there is a $27 heavily played. The near mint secret rare Alimbertian is going for $45.
Yeah. Trust me, those cards are magical.
Yeah, please,
but, you know, like
please don't spend $45 on an Alimbertian when you can get the Mago rarity for 20 cents.
Yeah, literally spend 20 cents. Like if you want to play Yu-Gi-Oh on a budget, just like you can still play Malice. You don't have to buy like track that's $70 or whatever. Just play Circular, get some sign up mining. You know, you'll be chilling. It's the same deck. You'll be fine. Circular is an extender that gives you 2 bodies, so you can normal summon Cheshire Cat if you brick. It's fine. You know, worst case scenario, you get Lancia, and you're like, haha, I have Circular combo, and I summon Diameter, and then I make a guy that says I have a monster to give for Funyuns, and there's this trap card for some reason that says I trish your board, and then he's an Omni negate for some reason again.
Yeah, doesn't Alimbertian also hand rip? That's so annoying.
Yeah, so there's the one that's literally Trish. He sends one from the ST, one from the Monster Zone, and then one from the Hand of the Grave by T-Touching. And then Diameter gives him the Omni. The card's so AIDS.
I can't wait for Hand Rip to be good now that water basically didn't get stopped all that much, and Alimbertian's going to be seeing more play.
Even playing Ruling Glacier in the first place. Like
you were?
I mean, of course I was, because I'm degen. You know, I just want to make the game go faster. I search Ruling Glacier, people are supposed to swoop. They're not supposed to sit there. You know, 99% of my games, literally, normal prints, add goons, or send goons, add minstrel. Can you concede now? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for going to the next game. You know what this is going to make people do? They're going to say, I want to see what you're doing. And I'm going to be like, oh my god. These people are going to make me sit here and watch them.
Hey, you minstrel ripped the imperm out of my hand, and then I still beat you because I was able to resolve the Meowls by forcing you to use god, what was it? I drew for my one draw off Meowls, I drew Fualos, and so you had to toad the Fualos in response to your mandatory to summon from grave. And then off.
I'm not gonna lie to you, if I just made Lancia, you lost.
Yes. No, for so sure.
Funny.
For sure.
Your deck there actually loses so badly to Lancia, it's not even close. Like you would special X, you like 1, 2. Okay, chain next to your answer, summon Ice Barrier retard.
The guy that which one? The one that makes me discard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On resolution.
Especially after you had hand ripped me already, so I was running low on cards.
Yeah. You would be sitting there with like 2 cards in your hand, just looking at me stupid. It's so funny. It's actually the funniest thing on the planet.
Well, that's okay. I just make Bagooska and pray, baby. When in doubt, goose get out.
What do you mean? That's
Okay.
like the only thing I like about the water deck right now is like there's no more Dweller, so you can't just herder like make Dweller into Shrine. The Shrine's always an actual interruption.
You actually have to play and yep. I also like how Dweller being gone means that a lot of like the decks that were being gate kept out have an opportunity to re-earn their status as playable. Yeah, exactly. We do have some comments here. Won a regional with MathMech in 2022. Finals was a mirror. He had the secret Alan version. I had the gold one. I love it. Love it. Water will be Lancia Turbo, Georgis, and Ryko.
So I think Fire Tank's kind of onto something too. That like Chimera and
would we play? Would you play Righteous? Or sorry, Georgis?
Andy was also telling me that like branded. But both decks, you know, Dweller was doing a lot of heavy lifting to like keep them from the meta, and now
I'm not gonna lie to you. I just look at Chimera. I'm like, this deck just draws 5 engine and prays it beats you. It's so gross.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been a fan of Chimera. Like, at all.
Yeah, I mean,
ever.
That deck is like one of the strongest going for decks, it feels like, just because just 5 engine is just so disgusting. But like, at the same time, why would you play 5 engine decks? Like, you just play Labyrinth at that point. And that deck just sucks.
I don't know. Lab did just get top 8 at a YCS.
By the way,
I think when you're stopping the deck though, like trying to, you know, you're going first trying to stop the deck, you no longer just have this easy, oh, I'm just gonna make Dweller and then the deck just can't play through my board. Like now it feels like the deck at least has a chance to try to do that. So we'll see.
Might play Fire Kings again too. Play my QCR Promethean Princess again and destroy cards. Hell yeah. Hunter, you were just talking about that, right?
I like chickens. Chickens are fun. Boom.
Apparently, Hunter found a lot of cards in a random deck box, and he pocketed a ton of money. So,
like, found them at the YCS or
no. Like at home.
No, I found them in my car.
Oh, okay. So not
Trey. When you start to have so much stuff, it kind of just goes everywhere. I'm not gonna lie to you. I found a full Fire King Snake Eye deck in my car with like 3 Olcanexes, multi Snake Eye Ash, etc. I'm like, oh, I own these cards. Right.
And all those cards went way up, baby.
All right. Well,
no brilliant fusion, huh? I'm looking at my binder of band cards, and nothing good in here.
We also haven't chatted at all about what is it? Blue Eyes and Odeon. I think those are I certainly with Detonator potentially on the downswing, it feels like those decks have more of a chance.
Blue Eyes just got better because there's less Vistials running around, and some of the cards that were gatekeeping it from being able to play going second a lot more comfortably also got hit. Like Shifter being gone. They were already kind of main decking Droll and Nib to begin with, so they don't have to change their deck lists at all. Primite is still as good as ever. There's less Bestials running around. What else was it here?
Well, I was mentioning that if Detonator
together.
Detonator being at 1, it's easier for them to deal with. Like once they kind of deal with it once, they're good. I mean, the Blue Eyes couldn't really go second all that comfortably because of cards like Detonator and Dweller. Cross a designator's gone. Maybe that might hurt them. Talents is.
But what about the cards mixed together?
Which ones?
You play the Odeon cards with Blue Eyes cards.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that is a deck too. You know.
Okay, talk me through this.
What
Okay,
Man of the Mark
so
has
Man
tap.
with the Mark is a spellcaster.
Yeah.
So you go Man with the Mark, get the field spell. Field spell. Place the trap card, right? And you set like one of the Infinity Blue Eyes, whatever. I don't remember whatever the newest guy is.
Yeah.
You say
Oh, Hunter, you're turning into a robot.
Right?
Hunter?
Things, right?
Hunter, can you hear me?
And you search it. It starts answering like never to make
He is turning into a robot. I can hear that.
Hello? Can you
Hello?
hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Brendan Robot.
Yes, you're back.
Are you okay, buddy?
Are you okay? You were the robot, not me.
I am a robot.
You were a robot. Yeah.
So what was the last thing you heard?
Men with the Mark can grab the field spell was the last thing that I heard before it started getting all weird.
Yeah, you make the field spell. Field spell gets Surge, gets 7 Surge, get by Vanish, get 10. That finds Temple of the Kings. Or you can just grab another field spell for follow. This is literally the same thing, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
And then Man with the Mark is a spellcaster, so you can go into the Blue Eyes Link one. And that searches Mausoleum. So then you can do like Maiden, Sage, Wishes, blah 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 blah. If you do Wishes, you have a free discard in the form of the Temple of the Kings you searched.
Well, Temple of the Kings, let's activate a trap card. I'm trying to like look for trap cards that mention Blue Eyes that you can set off of True Light that are decently playable go first.
You don't need that. You have the stupid trap card that sets a dude from deck that activates that turn to summon the fusion to reset 2 for 2 more interruptions.
Gotcha. Okay, so you still just use Odeon traps in that case, not even the Blue Eyes traps.
Yeah.
Huh. Ew.
And then when you're playing, and there's apparently like fiends with cards in that list or something. I don't know. The extra deck is apparently really tight, but
I hate that so much with so much of my being. Wow. That's silly.
I'm not really convinced that this is like the best way to be playing both of these decks. It feels like just pure Fiendsmith with the Temple of the Kings mana or Odeon cards is probably just better.
Excuse you, duelist. It's called Tombkeeper.
Okay, whatever. And yeah, Primite is probably still the right way to be playing Blue Eyes.
I think I have most of the Odeon cards.
Man, Joe Beam go crazy. Joe Beam go crazy.
Joe Beam is an insane card. When Willie was doing his deck profile, dude was like, yeah, this card's great. Playing it at 2 because they never expect the second one. And they always go, what? And then I win the game. And he was right.
So the other one I was going to throw out there, it feels like the Lightsworn cards, they got new support like not that long ago, and they just never really panned out. And it feels like Dweller was like a decently large part of that.
Dragonling certainly gets better. I wonder if Tearsworn is gonna be seen at all, right? Because
it's awkward because like a lot of the Lightsworn cards mill, or at least charge mills for cost, so it's a little awkward.
Well, I think it's more about the new support, right? Because Weiss, you can place one of the Lightsworn card from your hand on top of your deck, summon this card from your hand, then send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. If this card is sent from deck to graveyard, you can target one Lightsworn monster in your graveyard, special summon it. But Dragonling's like the big one, right? Because Dragonling is, you have a Lightsworn monster in your graveyard, you can special summon this from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can send one Lightsworn card from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Dragon monster with 3k26 from your deck to your hand, right? So these cards are like pretty good to just kind of throw in there, because if they get milled by tier cards or Lightsworn cards, I mean, you're popping off. You just wouldn't play any of like the really bad Lightsworns, and then their punishment dragon shuffles stuff back anyway. right? Let's see if I can find it.
I mean, you got Brilliant Vision.
Punishment.
Yeah.
Who's to say that we don't just go like? Who's
It
to
does
say
kind of. Go ahead.
that you don't just go like Scorpio into Cobra? It's Brilliant Fusion. Make Moon. Make Cross Sheep. You know, activate Brilliant Fusions and
Yep.
X Light Monster.
Yeah, right, because it'd be so Predaplant, Orphis Scorpio, summons Darlington Cobra, searches Brilliant Fusion. And then we Brilliant Fusion. Let's see. Fusion 1 Gemini Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your deck as material, right? So you'd use Garnet. So we want Seraphinite. So Seraphinite is 1 Gemnite, 1 Light. Yeah, so you'd use Garnet plus any tier monster. Not tier, I'm sorry, Lightsworn monster. Right? So then you get an extra normal summon, a free body, and you just get to Beatrice any Lightsworn monster from your deck. That actually sounds pretty good.
I do think pile decks are going to attempt to make a comeback with, you know, Shifter and Dweller.
Don't forget the 2 bodies that you make Cross Sheep so you can reborn the monster.
Yeah.
So like, for example, like you either make Cross Sheep or Moon, like whatever one you prefer. And then,
oh my god. Yeah, because the last time that we were doing this, like generic links like that, they weren't really running around in the same way. Like the Cross Sheeps where you can just get free summons, right? So the normal, like I think the most recent time that we had this was what? It was Cherubini. Because I think I remember you and I would talk about this back at PPF, Hunter, of just like, oh, I need level 3 Axis engine to play to, you know, just combo off with. Oh my god, this is so good. Cross Sheep is crazy with Brilliant Fusion.
Good card turbo.
Yeah, a lot of this is gonna depend on certainly how common like Ryziel is. Obviously, Detonator, Pop, Brilliant Fusion is
pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks.
It's pretty sad face.
Yeah.
So I think that honestly, there's
hey, wait a minute.
It's a pretty interesting ban list in the sense that there's like so many different avenues that things could go, and it's just really unclear like what's actually good and
kind of what's cope.
So
I think it's going to be a really exciting 3 weeks of testing before Alliance Insight comes out and the meta just goes back to being Malice and Ryziel. But I think what it'll do is it'll certainly add a new deck or two into the mix, right? Like perhaps we find out that Unchained suddenly able to contend with Malice and Ryziel because a lot of the cards that were gatekeeping it aren't around anymore, right? Like maybe we just find that out. Like obviously Alliance Insight is going to give pretty significant power bumps to both of those decks. Maybe not that significant for Ryziel, but pretty significant for Malice. You know, yeah. So we just had somebody mention full power White Forest Fiendsmith as a Mina. It's certainly a combo pile deck that a lot of those cards what's up?
They get some stuff in Allen.
Yeah, also so they get more in Allen on top of things like Dweller, things like Shifter being gone, right? So
yeah, but
that is a deck like this.
Man, I moved
like crazy.
I moved my QCR wanted. I was like, that card's $200. That I could not keep that card anymore. I got those at 50s, man.
I'm gonna have to get my copies of Darlington Cobra now. Ugh. I'm gonna play that in Vanquish Soul.
Jesus Christ.
Fiendsmith, Vanquish Soul, Brilliant Fusion, Garnets and Earth. I get an extra normal summon. I can just go Cobra into Orphis Scorpio into Cobra. Right, Link 2 into Cross Sheep, Brilliant Fusion, yada yada. Link 2 with the Seraphinite. What I summoned back with the Cross Sheep.
Actually, from.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't play cards in our extra deck.
Like, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Your like deck is like 3 rock and then like a space, right? But
two
like
rock,
still,
2 rock, 2 rock.
Holy God, our deck sucks.
You can just send Trick Clown, right? And then just overlay the Seraphonite
Yep.
and the Trick Clown.
Well, Trick Clown Seraphonite's level 5.
What?
Seraphonite's level 5.
Seraphonite's a 5.
Oh, I thought it was a 4. Oh.
Yeah. No, but I could use the Trick Clown to make Dempsey to search Rosin for my extra normal summon after I make Fiendsmith plays. Because I'll just go Lacrima.
Speaking, what you would do is you just normal Scorpio, summon Cobra, add Brilliant Fusion, make Cross Sheep, activate, then Clown Garnet. Clown summons itself, Cross Sheep summons back to the Garnet, and then that's Dempsey.
That's Dempsey right there.
The easy way.
Yeah, and then you just normal summon with Seraphonite. You don't even need Fiendsmith at that point, but from there you could also just then link the Cross Sheep and the Dempsey into Close Moon and play Fiendsmith cards. Just cuz. If you feel like it.
I won't lie, this 3 weeks here kind of feels like modern Edison in the sense that like everything just got nuked. So everything that was just good, not everything, but a lot of stuff just got nuked. And the next set is going to bring a lot of power back, but it's not here yet.
Yeah, so we have 3 weeks to experiment and no event before the new set comes out to mess around with, unfortunately. So I don't know if this will be the same thing. Like maybe in 10 years we get a whatever this format would be called format. But we've talked a lot about cards that got hit, cards that came on the ban list. Let's talk about cards that came off the ban list quickly, because I do want to touch on that a little bit. We're looking at cards like Masterpiece, the Draco Slaying King, where we mentioned Circular, right? We've got Brilliant Fusion. We've just been talking about that. What else do we have? We have the Black and White Dragon, right? Those are off. We got increased ratios of Ash and Poplar. We've got Sharvara, right? We were talking about Unchained, and then we also have Cyberjar, the Dangers, Eva, and Monkey Board. I don't think Cyberjar, Eva, or Monkey Board do anything at all, but the Dangers, I mean, maybe. Like, they're the Dangers that guarantee value. I mean, already we've got people talking about playing Danger Thunder Dragon, right?
So some people were trying to test out the Danger Malice stuff. It's unclear if that's, like, real or not. Probably isn't.
Yeah, because I guess the Dangers replace the Dark Bodies. But I just don't know if that's worth it. Like, I think you'd rather just play Interaction at that point. Yeah, exactly. Like, it feels like it introduces the deck to lose to Perulia now, lose to Meowls even harder, and it already has trouble with Fua. Like, it just feels super gas. But if you're just going to go super gas like that, why are you playing Malice instead of playing an FTK deck?
Okay.
I also was going to mention, I think the Ava stuff, I know Drytron played that, like, way back when. And with Abyss Dweller gone and Shifter to 1, I kind of think Drytron, like, might sneak its way back.
The problem is with
I don't think so.
Is that it's too hard for Drytron to facilitate, unfortunately. So it's just
I guess they were playing Beatrice, right, to like send it before.
So the old way they used to play it was with Ben 10 searching that and Orange Light, and then after
that's what it was.
Orange Light resolves, they would use Eva effect to search Orange Light, Green Light. The issue is not how the Drytron deck is played now with the introduction of New 2. New 2 locks you into machines, and so there's no opportunity to get the extra Ben 10 resolve for the Orange Light search for Eva.
Yeah, and especially with Beatrice gone, if it gets worse, and you could play like 1-for-1 to get it on board somehow, but that just feels kind of Well,
you physically can't play 1-for-1 in Drytron, but yeah.
Unless you're going for exactly Eva. which also
No, you literally cannot.
Why not?
The cards say you cannot do that.
The Drytron cards? Drytron.
Yeah. You cannot special summon monsters that can be normal summon.
Oh wow, yeah. I've just never read that clause because I haven't seen Drytron since it was kind of good, way back when.
So in terms of getting that extra Ben 10 search, before they would have needed to like.
You can play 1-for-1 for Mewtwo because he's the only one without that restriction. It's just the issue is that because of all the Drytron names say they cannot be normal summoner set, that's why they all work with each other. But
I see, and it's the turn, not for the rest of the turn.
Yeah, it's the turn. People normally search Diviner to normal summon it to set Arclight to get the extra search there. The other way you could do it is that people use Diviner to make Agent of Fury to search Secret Village.
Oh god. Floodgate and combo deck.
No spells, no traps.
So we did get some comments here in the stream that I feel like are worth warranting. Matty Brad backed at it with another winner. We got, I think the issue now is that Droll is still ridiculous post Banlist. Ryzeal and Malice need multiple searchers to even do anything. White Forest and many others fold to it, etc. And nothing to punish hand traps unless running thrust plus normal traps. What do you guys think?
I mean, that's fine though. I mean, Unicorn just naturally exists now. Like, if you want to punish Droll, just special Unicorn first.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Unicorn actually just does get better there, right? Because Slam Unicorn, Vector Search, Birth, they then will Droll. You'll rip from extra deck their one copy of Detonator or like their White Binder or something, and you just go, okay, great, normal summon anybody I want, link 2 into Closed Moon, Fiendsmith combo plus Birth, bring back Unicorn.
That's honestly so frustrating. Unicorn produces just unfun gameplay.
Yeah. It could even be like normal summon a hand trap, link 2 into Closed Moon, play Fiendsmith cards, and then just bring back Unicorn at the end of the turn just cause. And you've already done a lot of damage, like ripping the White Binder or the Detonator. Like, wow, yeah. I guess you'd probably want to rip the Exciton Knight over the Detonator, right? And then you just rip the Detonator on their turn?
I think it depends. I think Detonator's a lot better compared to Speeding.
Yeah, I just feel...
Action, a special X1 activate or 2 target Unicorn. You're just like not sitting there looking stupid.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess I'm just probably a little bit more worried about Exciton, but it doesn't matter too much, right? Because if they Exciton, you live. So you can just, you'll play next turn when you aren't under draw.
And think about this. What are you making?
Yeah.
Like, what are you making if Detonator's not there? Tornado Dragon?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, you clear that board of Unicorn Pass.
So this is another one, was the Millennium package, is if Detonator is, like, less common, kind of makes that deck, which is full of, you know, continuous spells and whatever, the monsters and field spell.
Yeah, I certainly don't think that we're going to be dealing with, you know, no Detonator at all. Like, that card is still legal.
So
Hunter, I'm going to mute you real quick.
Detonator, I'm not saying no Detonator. I'm saying, like, it's going to be way less common. Like,
yeah, well, so it'll be easier to deal with, right, in the sense that, like, once it's gone, it's kind of more than likely gone for good if you have a way of getting rid of it that isn't just sending it to graveyard.
Again, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying less people will choose to bring Ryzeal.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's just like, in general, Ryzeal will see less play, so Detonator's less of a thing to worry about, and so you're more comfortable playing these engines. So, yeah, I guess, like, yeah, Unicorn, like, if you play Cash Fiendsmith with a Millennium engine, right, you just summon Unicorn, search Birth, Senjinjin, effect, and then you add just, what is it? You don't add Shield, do you? Is it, which is the one that gets the field spell? Golem.
Rock guy,
yeah. So you go Senjinjin and Golem, right? There's your 2 free bodies plus the field spell. You've got Unicorn on board, so if they did anything to you, you can extra deck rip. Yeah, that, I mean, that's free summons .deck, and you haven't used a normal summon yet, so you can play whatever you want. Hell, you could even play the adventure package in that, right? Just for funsies. Like, imagine a Unicorn, normal summon Water Enchantress, right? Link 2 into Close Moon, bring back the Unicorn. Water Enchantress search right. If they droll you there, you Unicorn rip. Or I guess you would have gotten drolled on the Unicorn search, but regardless, right? You can play the Adventure Engine because you don't really need your normal summon effect at that point if you're just doing a bunch of, basically print body dot deck. And Adventure's getting support coming up soon as well. Combo decks might be back, baby.
Adventure's going to be tough to justify because I do think Droll is going to be running around.
But Nib's also going to be running around too, and the Adventure Engine, like, that deals with Nib with less summons than Fiendsmith does.
Hey guys, thank you for letting me talk to you.
Some text, will my QCR Adventure Engine finally be used? Hunter, why don't you chime in on that? Oh, he's leaving.
The cards are getting support,
yeah.
So they're already naturally getting used.
Well, Hunter, thank you for being here.
Luck, friend. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
I'll see you Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Bye.
Goodbye. Okay. Yes, I think your QCR Adventure Engine either might be used or will at least see some relevance. I was talking to Hunter about it when it got announced. I was like, hey, you can play Adventure Lab. You can pitch Water Enchantress off of a furniture piece. And then set a trap, banish Water Enchantress. Bada bing, bada boom. Hey, we're having fun, right? I guess it depends on like how good the new lab support is going to be, because you're getting adventure support and lab support, which is kind of silly. It's kind of silly. Okay.
When's all that coming out?
A week before Nats.
Oh, okay, so quite a while.
Yeah, we got about 2 months.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think we mostly hit on everything. It's just very unclear right now whether, like, people are going to try to gravitate. Like, if people are going to try to gravitate towards, like, big combo, fuck off decks. Like, okay, first of all, everyone's going to have access to the Charmies after Stampede.
Yeah, because Perulia got an Ultra, and who else is getting a bunch of reboots? Well, let's see what Perulia is going for right now.
Like 25 or 30 for the Ultra. So it's like, but most players are going to have access to, is it really cheaper?
It's going like 36.
Okay.
The Ultra, it's going for 28, 29, 29-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I think a lot of people are going to have access to the Charmies, and I think Droll is going to be in a lot of main decks. So it's going to be really tough for big fuck off combo decks to sort of survive through that.
Without at least having a simplified line that they could feel comfortable going through.
Which a lot of these, decks.
Unga Bunga, turn, Monkey Brain combo deck, go nuts. Yeah, they're not going to have like comfortable end boards that they can just kind of end on. Yeah, that's the thing about like the Azamina, White Forest, Fiendsmith stuff, right? Is that, yeah, there's like less cards that hit it, but it has way less ways to protect itself. Like now that talents and crossout have been dropped down to 1, might not even be worth playing. Like, Droll's gonna resolve more often against you now. So's Nib. So are Charmies.
I do think Fiendsmith Cash looks like a really good pick right now.
I agree.
Just sort of based on what we think. It's honestly, it's really going to depend where Ryziel lands. Like, if Ryziel is still very playable and good, then okay, I think the Fiendsmith Cash deck is going to struggle into that. Detonator just pop all of the the cash names and the field spell and all that, makes that deck pretty hard to justify. But yeah, at least looking from the outside, because I certainly will not be playing Ryziel.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not going to spend $200
on
to play a deck that is just so much worse than it was before.
Of course.
Like, I was very comfortable spending $150 of store credit to get a tier 1 meta deck. I'm not comfortable spending 200 real dollars.
I mean, you've been doing well with Salamangrate since then, right? And I guess now that some of the cards that beat Salad, Dweller's gone, Shifter's gone, right?
Well, we'll see. It's I've been testing it online. The deck it's still really unclear what the hand trap lineup is and what the non-engine lineup is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and yeah, Nib is still around. So, Talents before was a really good answer to Nib, and I was running that at 3 in the main deck. Now with only the 1, it's slightly harder to sort of justify that.
Do you want to know what I'm thinking?
What are you thinking?
Talents. Thrust gets better, right? Because if the only hand trap that you like really hard lose to right now is Nib, Thrust is live, right?
Well, the Charmies are still a thing too.
That's true, but
we're holding.
But Thrust gets at least a little bit more warranted, and we were just talking about how Falco and Rage might not be so bad.
Well, I don't know about Rage, but
well, it's a normal trap that you can set off Thrust.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. No, I mean I could test around with it. It's still pretty unclear what like what the right hand, because I don't know like exactly where Ogre fits in the meta. I think before it was pretty good. It was okay with Duo Drive being a really easy hit.
Mm-hmm.
You could hit like Fiendsmith cards, hit Desiree to stop the negate. You could hit you could hit like Lizardos sometimes against Malice, and sometimes that would stop their turn. So it was good. Now it's a little unclear whether that deck or whether Ogre still deserves a spot in the hand trap lineup. Maybe Droll takes over that spot. Still a lot of testing to be done, for sure.
Did you see Matty Brad's comment? That's actually a really good question or point, right? Said, did Konami want us to go mid-range, add more traps, Thrust/trap or Solemn Strike if you get hand trapped? And then he said, I will be running around with Fiendsmith Ryziel and testing Malice there too. Important to keep heavy Bestials as Fiendsmith is untouched. A lot of really good words said in a paragraph with poor punctuation, so I'm not sure what tempo I'm supposed to read it at or what words I'm supposed to blend together. But ultimately, the point got across, right? Did Konami want us to go more mid-range by throwing in more trap cards so that we can Thrust set a trap, or main decking Solemn Strike to punish getting hand trapped, right? By being like, okay, sure, I'll just set Solemn Strike if I got stopped, and then on when it's time to strike you, we'll turnabout's fair play. Or are we expecting them to want us to do a little more Unga Bunga like messy combo deck? I mean, we haven't seen degen combo nonsense in a while, right? Since Hulk got banned, basically. Like, since Hulk got banned, combo decks have fallen off with a vengeance or have become Fiendsmith only. When I talk about combo decks or like what makes combo decks good, I always talk about how you need a bridge, right? You need something that's going to facilitate the core like pivot of the combo. And when Hulk was around, it was Hulk. When Summon Sork was around, it was Summon Sork. Now we look at Close Moon as that pivot point, right? Where suddenly, Mermaid was the same thing, or I guess in this case, it's not Close Moon as much as it is Requiem, where we see decks are able to turn themselves into sort of like pile combo decks by just printing bodies and then turning that into Fiendsmith, and then Fiendsmith generates value, right? In this case, did Konami want to introduce more opportunities for like Unga Bunga combo nonsense, right? They threw back Brilliant Fusion into the game. They threw back Dangers into the game. What else? Circular is back, right? There's a lot of cards. I think it's
just a recognition that the Charmies kind of stop a lot of that.
They slowed or tempoed the game to a point where it's like, okay, cards that do something like this can keep these things in check.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that makes some sense, right? So is Konami inviting us to play more combo decks and saying, hey, Charmies are around, go nuts, like have at it? Or are they basically wanting us to go more mid-range by saying, okay, hey, we're fine with Thrust at 3, Talents has got to go to 1. So they want us to play a little bit more tempo of Thrust becomes more popular now instead of Talents, and so that means that we're leaning into the Thrust trap situation if we do get hit by Drolls or Nibs or Charmies, right? Are they basically saying, hey, we know that these necessary balance cards are running around, we're going to force you to play either, you know, completely ignorant of that and just saying, hey, I hope it doesn't happen, and play some like nonsense combo deck, you know, or build for the mid-range, build for when these things inevitably happen, because now they're stronger than ever, at least maybe not stronger, but more relevant to be main decked than, you know, at least for a long time. We're encouraging you to play cards that, you know, say, okay, I'm not playing this turn, but you're not playing next turn, right? Are they basically encouraging us to artificially slow down games? Are they, you know, I think that what they're looking for is a dichotomy of either you go balls to the wall combo nonsense and you're hoping to win on turn 0, or we're going to artificially create a multi-turn game here by just trading turn skips, or trading turn slowdowns, right? You know, enter simplified game states by force. So that's what I think. It really is going to come down to player preference, and, you know, maybe time will tell, or, you know, reps over the coming weeks will tell, you know, what is or is not correct. You know, maybe a Malice tier 0 format gets put in check by random nonsense pile decks that eat up, you know, certain standings. Like, you know, Malice is one of those decks that it's really hard to outperform. Like Malice, if it gets to do what it wants to do turn 1, it's really difficult to beat that end board because it does all that with balanced gameplay. What does better than that? Some random pile Unga Bunga nonsense deck that, you know, is going to have a better end board than Malice will, but isn't as resilient. It's like maybe it will just power creep, maybe not power creep, but it'll push out Malice on occasion. I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out in ALIN format. But as of right now, right, he also mentioned I'll be running around with Fiendsmith Ryziel and testing Malice. They're too important to keep heavy Bestials as Fiendsmith is untouched. That is still something to consider. Bestials are still very good. They're still necessary to maintain. Hi, Trey. They're still necessary to maintain, you know, some sort of way to keep Fiendsmith in check. You know, Fiendsmith did not get hit at all, and especially if there's going to be a bunch of these combo decks running around that can just go into Fiendsmith just for free, Bestials are more important than ever. Okay, that's my monologue. Your turn.
Yeah, that was a lot of monologuing.
I'm sorry if you felt excluded. No.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I felt like I should have slowly crept up to a heavy object so that I can throw it at you.
Don't do that.
Well, you know. Hey, you sly dog. You caught me
monologuing. You got me monologuing. Was he coming in with a heavy object? I thought he was just sneaking up on him.
No, he was sneaking around, and because there was like a disc on the ground or something, and he was gonna throw it at him.
Okay, well, let's watch this clip real quick.
It's a good clip. It was a great movie.
Oh, my ears.
I hope we don't get demonetized.
We're gonna get copyright for this, yeah. If I skip, do you think it'll work? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. Turns out there are a lot of people, whole countries who want respect.
Oh, it's a log.
See?
Get it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Heavy object. Yeah, you're right. Us throwing random Incredibles clip into our Yu-Gi-Oh stream.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I do think it's going to be low to the ground decks that that don't play too terribly hard into the Charmies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Fiendsmith Cash and to be honest, the Fiendsmith Odeon stuff. I think those are
Odeon especially.
I think those two decks are the ones that I'm looking at. I think it's just so hard to justify like moving over to Rise, because like even after Allen, like you get a guy who can search, plug in, or cross as a Rizio player, and I'm just sitting here thinking like, really, Rizio players, this is what we're gonna accept, and like we're willing to shell out, you know, $200 for this engine, or if you're playing like Mitsurugi, then you're shelling out, you know, $250, $300. It's like for a deck that's just gonna lose to Droll, like,
yeah, and Droll's still going to be around, and it's probably going to be being main decked. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point.
I just don't think I could like that. Just sounds terrible. So
I mean, okay.
I know I approach this game differently than, you know, others do. I see it more of a, I want the best bang for my buck in terms of the meta. So I'm not always looking for what's the best deck. I'm looking for how can I spend my money to get the best
value,
results.
best value per result per cost.
Yeah. The best like result versus like dollars spent.
Yeah.
And I think Rythiel is very much not the answer to that
anymore. It certainly has been recently, right? Where, you know, you can get the whole core for under $200. You don't need the Charmies to play. They certainly help, right? But you don't need them. And you know, a lot of things around it are getting cheaper, except for the cards that will facilitate the Ryziel engine. Like the Fiendsmith cards are getting cheaper. The Mitsurugi cards are getting more expensive. The, you know, some Tachyons are getting more expensive. Like there's fluctuating, and it's not necessarily in a good way.
Yeah. So
what I will say is this. I will say this, right? I think you're making a really good point about like even tempo to deck. Like Odeon does not play poorly into Droll, into Nib, into any of the Charmies, right? This deck just became, its like biggest weakness was Shifter. And this deck just became, and Detonator, right? This deck just became so much better. This deck just became massively stronger with this ban list. And
so I will say, I will throw out that Droll does hurt the deck a little bit. They do search
2 or 3 times. It's not like some exorbitant amount.
It's 3 times. Like Man with the Mark will search. He doesn't really want to foolish. The field spell will search, and then they have the Anubis guy that searches. And then if they are on Fiendsmith cards, you know.
Okay, so the Anubis guy searches Man with the Mark. Man with the Mark searches the field spell, and the field spell searches a monster that mentions Temple of the Kings. So they all sort of do that in a circle, which means that opening any one of those pieces is one piece that you don't need to search off of Droll. So they can search 3 times. They only need to search once. Well, I guess unless they start with exactly Anubis. If they start with Anubis search, they need to search twice. If they start with the field spell or Man with the Mark, they're fine.
Sure, but it's also, if they're on the Fiendsmith stuff, you know, that's a couple extra searches.
That's true.
So, you know, Droll, I don't want to say Droll does nothing to the deck, but
they have plays through it. They're comfortable through it.
But yeah, it is very possible that they just draw engine in a way that it like didn't, that Droll didn't actually do anything. So yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of where I've got my eye, and then it'll really be down to where do Malice and Ryziel end up after the ban list, and I think at this point we just don't know. So that's like, yeah, you can't really theorio out like how good those decks will actually end up being.
I think
there's too many variables at the moment.
Let me do this. Pick 3 decks to keep an eye out for that aren't Ryziel or Malice. Pick 3 decks to look out for or to play test, like try to work with.
I mean, I'm going to be play testing Salad because I think right now we're in a lower power format, and the the one thing I'll probably do is throw a second princess in my extra deck, because I do think Unicorn's going to be
more popular
running around. Yeah. If I wasn't playing Salad, I do think right now the Odeon cards are probably, like, as far as I can tell, they're fairly cheap, right? Like,
yeah.
fairly
Well, let's find out. Man with the mark. I think he just went
with the mark is like $10 or something.
Yeah, it's like $10. What's the field spell called? It is Treasures of the Kings.
You can just go. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like the deck's pretty cheap.
Yeah. So, well, relatively cheap, right? Like, it's still going to be probably $100 for the core.
Something like that. If you're playing the Fiendsmith build, it'll be a little bit more expensive because Tract is like $70 right now. Actually, what is Tract going for? Is it more than 70?
Insane.
It's going for 56 right now.
Just insane.
Yeah. Card blew up. Oh my god.
Yeah.
The card was $15 like days ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think I sold mine at, I don't know, 20s, something like that.
Feels bad.
Oh well.
Lacrima's going for 30 right now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It is what it is.
Yeah, the list got leaked the night before, didn't it?
Yeah.
They had to take it down off Zoo. See, yeah. I don't know if I trust. The issue is, like, it's hard to trust Zoo leaks, right? Because people will be leaking ban lists for weeks leading up to an actual ban list. I think the fact that they took it down was a problem. Like, leave it up, right? Because then no one's gonna believe you. They're gonna look at that list. They're gonna be like, "There's no Fiendsmith hits. There's no way this is real." Like, they're gonna look at that leaked ban list, see there's not a single Fiendsmith hit, and just be like, "Yeah, this is a fake list. There's no Requiem on here. There's no Engraver on here. Yeah, this is fake. This is fake, right?" I feel like by having it taken down, that added suspicions to it, and it was leaked. You know. Ugh. Okay, anyway. So you said Salad. You said Tombkeeper. What else?
I mean, yeah, I mentioned the Fiendsmith Ryziel. I think that's the other easy.
Fiendsmith Ryziel or Fiendsmith?
Or sorry, yeah, Fiendsmith Cash.
Fiendsmith Cash. Okay. Gotcha.
I guess I'll also throw Ryziel Mitsurugi in there. I think that one is probably the least directly affected, but if your role is as common as it seems like it probably should be, that deck, especially after the ban list, because it's going to be playing 7 Tachyon, 7th Ascension in order to stay consistent. Like, Droll certainly will hurt even more than it did before.
And speaking on that, actually, Team Top Cut has a Mitsurugi Ryziel deck profile on the YouTube channel for a build that was specifically designed for when you get Drolled, Nibbed, or Mulcharmied. Basically, the core concept of the design was to lean really hard into the tributing aspect of the deck. So we're playing cards like Econ and Nib in the main deck as means of basically, oh, we got Drolled. That's okay. I'll sit on my Saji with my continuous spell. I'll get my purple guy. So, like, I'll Saji search the quick play. You know, they'll Droll. We'll chain the quick play. You know, get the purple guy and summon him, and then he'll add back the quick play. And so, you know, now you've got your Saji and your purple, whatever his name is. I don't know the names of the Mitsurugi guys. I should probably learn that. And so you can just sit on, like, your Econs, your Nibs, right? And on their turn, plus when you tribute your own bodies. So, like, you'll go Econ, steal the duo drive, use Saji effect to search for follow-up, which is crazy now, especially with talents at 1. The punish for that goes way down. So I would say I would recommend taking a look at this Mitsurugi Ryziel list. It's probably pretty much the same, like, outside of Dweller getting hit, and I think Ext and Sword, and I think Sword was at 2 in it already, right? So Ice and Ext going down to 2. I guess Bonfire would be down to 1 as well, but yeah, I would recommend to everybody that is interested in Mitsurugi Raziel, please go watch this video. And it's not just self-promo. It is deck theory, like the night before the regional. I built this deck. Jordan, a friend of mine, played it extremely well, and he ended up topping a regional with it. So, okay. All right. So Mitsu Raziel, Tombkeeper, Fiendsmith Cash, and Salad, right? That's what you're going to be looking at. Salad asterisks, right?
Yeah. I don't know how good it's actually going to end up being.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. We'll put an asterisk next to that.
There's one other one I was going to... Oh, gosh. Memento, actually.
Memento,
that one,
okay.
I think has a big question mark on it right now. Because it was kind of a counter pick into Raziel. And now it's like, well, Raziel seems questionable about where it's going to end up.
So here's my issue with Memento is that it has a really bad Malice matchup. And, you know, while we might see like a surge of Memento coming back, you know, now that it just won a YCS and it's really mobile. I mean, Hunter mentioned this before. The deck doesn't really do anything other than extend and just kind of keep extending. But it does that really well, and it does that through uncomfortable interruptions. And with Shifter and Dweller gone, the deck just does kind of get better. So I think we'll see a surge of Memento, and I think you're right about that it's worth at least looking into. But I do think once Alliance Insight comes out, it'll kind of taper back off.
Yeah, maybe. I know it has lines through pretty much all of the mulch armies, and Droll also. Well, from what I understand, the deck is just very layered interaction. So while Droll can cut down on those layers, there's still, you know, rather than like 9 disruptions, it might have, you know, like 4 or 5. Okay. Which the thing is, 4 or 5 disruptions is still
it's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay,
especially when your opponent is down a card.
So I'm gonna go ahead and post a chat. Well, I guess chat before I post the chat, like my list of decks to kind of mess around with or keep an eye out for. Do you have anything that you would like to contribute to it that we did have not previously just mentioned? Actually, I guess I'll throw my hat in the ring for decks. I've included Blue Eyes variants. I think that deck is as good as it was or better, right? I mean, we've got White and Black Dragon with the deck now, so that can be pretty good. Like, those are just free dragon bodies that they can print and, you know, use to make their Link 1. Works well with the Odeon variant, right? So if you end up getting Charming in an uncomfortable way, you can just lean into the Odeon stuff. I think it still loses to the same cards anyway, right? Loses to Nib, loses to Droll. But I do think that it got better in the sense that the things around it got worse. So there's that. There's Unchained. That was the other one that I wanted to mention. And then Fire King, right? Whether that, so I'll just go Fire King variants, right? So those were my 3, actually, even before you mentioned Tombkeeper, Memento, Fiendsmith Cash. I kind of knew you were going to mention Fiendsmith Cash and Tombkeeper. Actually, Memento was a nice surprise. Thanks for that addition. But yeah, my 3 were Blue Eyes, Fire King, variants of each, and then Unchained. I think Unchained has a very quiet chance to make a real impact here.
I think it'll also be interesting to see if, where Mermail ends up going. Because I mean, maybe it's just because there's so many words on all the cards and I don't know what they all do. But yeah, I have to assume that deck is still going to figure out a way to do ridiculous things. So, I mean, you know, even just a hand rip for 2 and a barrier statue, and whatever else nonsense that they do. That one also has a big question mark for me. And Semtex coming in with Fiendsmith Ubel, I think that's another good choice.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Ubel variants because I think Unchained Ubel also gets a little bit better here.
Well, it could just be Fiendsmith Unchained.
Oh my god.
Fiend pile. What?
Unchained got better. And
yeah,
guess what deck was playing a heavier Unchained build to it pre-detonator? Musket Smith.
Ubel.
Musket Smith.
Oh, okay, maybe.
I mean, Could be worth looking into.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of decks with a big old question mark on them right now in terms of like where they're gonna land. So.
God, this is a much bigger list than I was expecting it to be.
Well, it opens.
Opens up a lot.
Yeah. It opens up. I was set, like I mentioned it, you know, it feels like Edison format in the sense that it's like there just is a lot of things that like can be tried.
No, you're right.
Like
and the issue is that we know that it's a doomed format, right? Because in 3 weeks, everything's going to change again back to kind of what it was before. But we're going to have 3 weeks of just goofing off and having a great time. Huh.
And it's frustrating that there is like no real events that can sort of memorialize it.
I would have liked for Providence to be pre-Alliance Insight rather than post-Alliance Insight. That would have been really nice.
Yeah.
It could be called it could be called Providence format in 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
List is going out.
People might call it pre-Providence or something. I don't know.
I think Providence would have. That's like a cool name in and of itself.
Yeah.
Oh, do you play Providence?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound as good as Edison.
No,
Edison just rolls off the tongue, baby. That sounds good. I like it because it's a dual meaning, right? Because it's about Edison, New Jersey, but it also is Edison because it's so inventive, right?
I never even thought about it that second way, but that's true.
That's why I thought it was called Edison when people were telling me about the format. It's like, oh, is it called Edison because people just keep inventing new decks with it, and it's like such an inventive and creative format? They're like, no, it's because of a place. I was like, oh, that's boring. It's really underwhelming, actually. Oh, combined creation went way up. Ew. The card skyrocketed. That card was $3 last week, and now it is 20.
30? 20? Okay.
Yeah. The CR is 40? It's 41. There's only one listing for it, so.
All right. Well, it's about 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I feel like we got a good conversation in about it. Yeah. Thanks for being here, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not much of a Banlist talk if it's only
one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've streamed too. It's been nice to get back into the role. I don't know. I've just been traveling so much. Like Fridays have become hard for me to stream on, right? Because we did Vegas, I went to Wisconsin. It all started with Orlando, didn't it? No, I was going past Orlando. I think it started with Vegas. It was Wisconsin and Vegas and
Houston, obviously.
Houston. Providence is coming up. The Intercollegiate National Championships next weekend, so I'm going to be flying out to California for that. We'll be streaming that though. I don't know. I don't think we have an Intercollegiate brand stream yet. So what I might do is just stream through Team Top Cut's stream channel and just say like, "Oh, Intercollegiate sponsored by Team Top Cut," because I own both of them. They are both my IPs that I created, so I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I might have very exciting news regarding Konami and the Intercollegiate at some point. Knock on wood, but might be something interesting there. Okay, we're going to call the stream for the night. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your contribution. I will be posting the VOD to YouTube. And yeah, if you guys have anything else that you want to add or anything that you want to mention, decks that we didn't consider but are worth talking about, go ahead and throw that into the comment section. We'd love to talk about it more. And if you have any other questions about decks that maybe we didn't answer or weren't asked, like if there's questions about Malice that you feel weren't touched on or questions about Rizal that you feel weren't touched on, throw that in the comments as well. We'll give it an answer. Cool. Yeah, have a good one.